So when we talk about video, we talk about an important thing as well, which is the image, how you look, how your background looks, the camera, the way you look at the camera as well. Those things are really important when we talk about video and how to get that trust from your audience as well. And today we will talk about this. So stay tuned because we will be back soon. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of the Special Marketing Live Show. And today we're going to talk about this importance of how we look on camera, how the whole image looks as well. With I don't know if I'm a little bit afraid to say the name of my guest today because I'm I'm afraid I don't say it properly. Let me try. Vietek Ladislaav.
It's actually VTech.
Vietek. Okay,
Yeah, it's
so
cool.
let's bring it to the screen to this show, which, by the way, it's sponsored by SEO Ranking, the most amazing platform where you can find the best ideas for content, how your website is ranking. Also, you can sneak a little bit on your competitors' websites and these kind of metrics. So, if you want to take a look, just go to the description and you will find there. So let's bring Viet. Oh my God, I need to ask him again how to say it properly. I'm
It's simple,
sorry.
Marco. It's just a VTech as a
Vitek. Okay,
VTech. Yeah,
perfect,
yeah. As
perfect.
simple
So
as that.
the E it's kind of mute.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Thank you so much for joining. I think it's the first time. Yes, it's the first time that I go that I turn to the Eastern Europe. Okay,
Okay.
so welcome. You're the first one.
Thank you. No, awesome,
Thank you so
awesome.
much. If you don't mind to introduce yourself and then we can jump into the conversation.
Sure, sure, absolutely, absolutely. So, Marco, thank you very much for having me. My name is Vietek Ladislaav. I'm from Prague, from Czech Republic, but for last almost 10 years now, actually, I've been living in Dubai. So it is even far easter than you might think. And originally I'm a video producer, I'm TV producer by my profession, but here in Dubai, I'm the owner of Square Motion, which is video marketing agency, and we create videos for a lot of clients. So if I know a little bit about something, probably know a little bit about videos. So I think we're going to talk about videos today, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay,
So
okay.
this will be a great conversation because this was the my chosen format of content because as and by the way, how did you came into the video world?
Oh, yeah, that was a bit of a chance actually. I was um, in about 2000, 1999 actually. I came back. I used to live in England, and I came back from England to Czech Republic, and I was just doing some bits and pieces here and there. And then a friend of mine has asked me if I can help him with setting up a new TV show about golf. And because I was an avid golfer then, I said yes, even though I didn't know anything about the how to set up a TV show, how to do a TV show whatsoever. And he just threw me into the pool, and I start kind of like figuring out how to swim. And yeah, cut the long story short. Basically, that was how I got into the world of TV and media, and I ever since that time I've done a lot of different things. I stood in front of the camera, I stood behind the camera. I did my own show on a national TV, and I was a TV commentator. I commentated golf. I traveled the world with golf. So I traveled to different tournaments, and that actually brought me to Dubai in 2009. I was actually covering one of the tournaments on European Tour, which is DP World Tour Championship now for the golfers out there. They know that's a final tournament on European Tour, and I was actually covering it for the TV. I came here, and I kind of like thought, oh, it's a nice country. Maybe I can have a look around. And yeah, from 2012, I've been living here in Dubai.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you. And by the way, for those of you who are watching, please, if you have any questions, like Arnaldo, say hello, for instance, and welcome, Arnaldo. It's so good to see you here back. Now you're close to me. I have to make this question because I think I'm sure that most of the people are afraid of cameras, of showing up on video and these kind of things. Don't you think that one of the problems is their benchmark that are TV stars, TV presenters? Don't you think this could be because we see television, we see the news, we see the other programs, and we put the bar so high. Oh, I can't do that. So this could be a problem when people watch too much TV because they may have their benchmark on these presenters, and this could be a problem.
Yeah, definitely. I think you hit the nail on the head. Many of us, I would say, the people who grew up in my kind of time, we were not growing up with cameras all around us. That might be that might be very different for the generation of my kids, for example, which they have all the phones and all the stuff to their liking. So it's a very very different for them. It was for us. So for us, always standing in front of the camera was kind of like, oh, you must be important to talk to camera. You must be important to talk to the media, right? So that kind of like we were putting these people on a pedestal, and that's why perhaps whenever we stand in front of the camera, we feel like, oh, I have something really important to say, or I have to say something very very important. Otherwise, I would look silly or stupid or something like this. So that's the reason I think why so many of us we have this feeling of well, it's not for me. I shouldn't be really putting myself out there. Just stay behind the camera. That's maybe better. And things like that. So yeah, I feel there is a definitely the gap between us and the generation which is growing now, which they just probably don't have any issue whatsoever. And if I see YouTubers now, what they do, what kind of videos, I know that in my TV career, which was educated and all that, they would kill me for those kind of videos which they are now producing, and they get kind of like easily putting it out there because there's not the quality which we're supposed to create, right, for the TV. So but still, at the end of the day, it's not about the quality, it's about the content and how many people find it valuable.
Absolutely. And I think this could be okay. You give me a nice cue to ask you because we have this experts telling about creating value quality content. And
Mm.
what the heck is quality content? Because it's what it is, because I don't think this is so generic. It's kind of crazy. Why? Because for instance, if you're a comedian, the content you should release is different. For instance, if you are a plumber.
Sure.
Okay. So, in your opinion, and thanks so much for bringing the question to the table, what could be this quality content? Put it like in simple language.
Yeah, I mean, value is always perceived by the viewers, right? So somebody who finds some dancing in front of the camera valuable because it's maybe entertaining, perhaps it's fun. Um, Sorry, there's a bit of a noise around
No,
here.
no.
I don't know. Perhaps somebody is dancing right now around me. So I'm coming back to that thing that the value is always perceived by the viewers. So what I found valuable may not be valuable for some maybe my kids or somebody else, and that's perfectly okay. That's why it's so important to understand, and this is actually a good thing because what we found valuable, maybe some other people finding valuable, and that's why we need to put out the content, whatever it is, whatever is resonating within us. So if it's dancing in front of the camera, and if that's your thing, just do it, because maybe somebody find it entertaining, somebody finding amusing, somebody will find it interesting, and there will be your followers, and then maybe you can build your career based on that. I mean, we can see, many YouTubers actually doing that. And I can't say that, they are right or wrong. This is not for us to judge. Again, I really think that the most important thing is the value is perceived by the viewer, and the viewer will judge if that is valuable for me or not. Do I like to watch the kids dancing on a TikTok? It's not my thing, but it's okay. It's fine. Yeah. So yeah, I think this is really like an important distinction to have.
Absolutely. So we just killed two myths. The first one, you need to have TV quality to start. And the second one, you just can go record video or go live if you have quality content. No, it's
Mm.
useful content. I
Yes.
think it's the right perspective. So having this solved, which are I think the biggest barriers which people find, how can they start?
Um, with this, no, really, like
Yes, yes.
I do teach. I have some like time to time on some video marketing classes, and people asking me, oh, how can we start? And I have on my slides. Don't worry about anything. You have everything what you need for video already with you, and that's your phone. And you can start with your phone, because there are so many apps, so many different tools which you can use, and you can start really with this. If you look at my LinkedIn profile, for example, on my LinkedIn page, majority of the video which we will see there are made with this. I'm not using our expensive cameras and all that stuff. That's for our clients and for like a more pristine production. But for the social media videos, come on, that's enough, really enough. And it's actually good enough. Yeah. If I look at, again, if I just compare it, when I was starting in a TV, 20 odd years ago, come on, like that would be fantastic, like the quality wise, and the pixel wise and all that stuff. Like, come on, and before it was like 4:3 and pixelated stuff, all on tapes and things like that. So the quality was not there. So um, we have all the equipment we need in order to start video. Usually the barrier is, as you mentioned, people are shy to stand in front of the camera. But then again, what I'm telling them, guys, just record yourself, have a look at it, and don't post it if you don't like it. You don't need to post it. You can try, but while you will be trying, you will get better and better in it. So one day you perhaps say, you may say to yourself, you know what, it's actually good enough to post it. So if you don't try it, you cannot get better. None of us who are standing in front of the camera and kind of and you feel, oh, they are natural in front of the camera. None of us were born with it. All of us, we had to hone our skills. We had to go through the painful process, looking at ourselves and looking silly and feeling, oh my God. If I look at my early videos, like, I told you I had my own show. If I look back, this 15 years or 17 years ago, when I was standing in front of the camera, my God, like, I feel this is this is horrible. This is really horrible. How I looked and what I did, all that stuff. Anyway, you have to go through it, and you will get better. Eventually you will get better. You will know what to say. And again, there are so many tools now which are making it much, much, much easier to actually stand in front of the camera and just talk about things, whether it's teleprompter or some other tools which I don't know, we can talk about as well. But overall, what I want to say is, really, there is no excuse whatsoever in terms of equipment. Why shouldn't I stay in front? Why shouldn't I create the videos? We have everything what we need in our pocket.
Absolutely. And for instance, I don't know if you know it. One of the places where I usually go live, it's on Amazon, and
Mhm.
I'm kind of doing recommendations about gear. And one of the things I usually talk, it's about a camcorder. I bought it, I don't know, maybe 13 years ago, and by those times I think I spent around I don't know, more than 1,000 euros. And right
Mhm.
now with a 600 cell phone, I have a way better image than I had
Yeah.
with something. I think making the transition, the translation to money by these times, I'm talking about maybe the double of the price because inflation. And so this thing, oh, I don't have a good camera. It's just that the cell phone you have, even though it's not an amazing cell phone like a iPhone 13 or something, I'm pretty sure that the camera it's way better than the the one we had 10 years or more ago. Absolutely.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one more thing which I feel is really incredible is the wealth of knowledge we have around us now. So imagine this 20 years ago, really, I had just my like superior in a TV. So whenever I did something, I had to go to him, and he was telling me, "Oh no, this is okay, this is not okay," and I had to always bother him. Now come on, you just Google, how to shoot a video, how to edit video, how to add sound, how to add music, how to mix it all together, and you have hours and hours of YouTube videos, YouTube tutorials, where you can learn, where you can become a better, by just simply clicking on certain videos and watch, how other people have done it. You can inspire yourself. So it's just incredible wealth of knowledge around us. So again, there's absolutely no excuse for us not to do this, if we, of course, if we want, if the video is our thing.
Absolutely. And it's curious because you're guessing my next question. And the thing is, I was about to ask you about this inspiration thing because I see two challenges when we go and look, at least at the beginning. I think this could be the because once you get used to it, once you get your own thing, I think you're kind of a little bit more immune to this. But two things I see on this. One, it's you see, oh my God, that person makes it so well. I can't do that way. I'm gonna give up. I won't be doing like because I can't achieve that level. And the
Mhm.
second thing is, oh, I like so much the way he or she does. I'm gonna copy their way to do things. So I think we should set kind of a boundary. Okay, I can get inspiration from this,
Mm.
or I can look at this, but from this moment on, or this boundary on, I will be doing my own thing, and I won't be scared because I'm not in the same stage because they have uh, miles and miles of road which I don't have. How do you think that we should balance this? Because it's challenging.
Um, Yeah, actually, I think we should not really think of that so much like looking up to somebody in terms of it's unreachable, or I can never reach that. That's because I think it's really just step by step you'll get better and better. You might be even better presenter or better video creator than the person who you now looking up to.
Absolutely.
Um, the thing is, about inspiration is just looking at the people, how they do it, what they do, how how they talk. But what I really feel, and what I usually say to my students, I'm keep telling them, be natural. I know it's kind of cliche word, like be authentic and natural, and then like what does it really mean? But that's really this, that give your personality through the video. So be you. Don't try to pretend to be somebody. Like if I'm kind of like I consider myself to be a little bit introvert. But so if I suddenly start doing, oh guys, hello, how are you doing? Everything is all right. That's not me. That's not me, really. I understand that perhaps I need to work on a bit of an energy in my presentation. That's fine. That's okay. But still, it's me. Like when people meet me and when they will see me on a video, that should not be two different things, like oh, you jumpy over there on the video, and then suddenly here you're not speaking, right? Or you, yeah, I can't even talk to you. So I think that's where we need to find our own voice, and this is again the beautiful thing about this. Yeah, don't pretend, don't try, overdo things. Just be simply you and say what you want to say, do what you want to do. And if you do this enough, then you will have your following. You will have the people who will resonate with you, because they have the same wavelength. They have the same life values, for example. They have the same view on the things which you're sharing. And this is what you want, right? Like, you don't want to lure somebody in just by pretending that you're somebody and then actually you're not. Yeah. So I think that's where inspiration comes from. Look at the people who are kind of like a closer to you, and then you like how they behave, what they do, and try to emulate this, or be inspired. You don't need to copy it, word by word, or same background, or same thing. But whenever, like, I love paintings. Yeah, I love to paint. And I know that when we started painting, you first, what you do, you sit in front of other painting. So you have the painting, for example, of Renoir, or somebody, and then you need to copy it. You need to try to copy. Um, by this, you're learning how to mix the colors, how to do the brush strokes and things like this. So in a similar manner, I would just say, try to be inspired by somebody, try to copy it in some way, because you will find your own voice and your own thing within that.
Perfect, because I think it's the thing. And I want to ask you a particular thing that this happens with me. I don't know about you, but one of the things, because we are not the same person, or like, we don't show the same trace of personality every time.
Mhm.
For instance, let me give you my example. There's sometimes that I like to stay quiet in my room, okay, without anyone boring me. And there are times that I'm really extrovert, and I'm a kind of a one man show, okay.
Mhm.
And the thing is, and I think I think about this as well, which is when I go live, because usually I just make live videos. I want to bring that energetic Marco to the screen. Okay, it doesn't, and this is something that we should have in mind as well. We do. I'm not like this energy the whole day, because otherwise I will be dead at the end of the day. Okay, because there's no no endless energy in myself. So have in mind this as well. And this I would love to, because I think with your experience with TV, because I'm sure that you have lots of examples like this. Even though people are authentic, they're not pretend that they are someone else. One of the things that we need to do when we go live or when we are recording video is to have this extra energy, because otherwise people will go and they will leave, because we need this extra energy in order to catch the audience. But this doesn't mean that we are pretending to be someone else, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, interestingly enough, before each and every show which we did on a TV, you always did some, like, a bit of an exercise to get your blood flowing. Kind of like be a little bit more excited. Be a little bit more energized. Because sometimes, when you do things in the, like, for example, now there's a 9 o'clock here in Dubai, so it's kind of like a night. Pretty much, or evening, and usually the most energy you have in the morning time. So whenever we try to shoot, for example, an interview, or videos like this, we try to always schedule it to the morning time, but that's not always possible, right? So whenever you do it in the afternoon hours, or the late evening hours, you always try to get the person who is responding, or you, if it's you, the presenter, kind of like a, stretch a little bit, do a few squats, just kind of like a get a little bit pumped up, even like a physically, because then it shows, right? Like when you're pumped up inside, when the blood is flowing, then you can show it as well. So yeah, definitely, I think it is important. And as you mentioned, it's not pretending something, but you want to give that energy. You want to give that good feeling to the people who are watching you, right? So I think it is important. Like you don't want to, like, what, yeah, okay. So probably people will, will click
That's
off very, very quickly. Yeah. So yeah, that kind of like a bit of a positivity, bit of a good feeling. I think it's important. It's important to to project through whatever you do on video.
perfect, perfect. I think it's the right way as well, because we should not feel like this, and this imposter syndrome is something that may happen and may appear lots of times. And one of the things, oh, I can be pretend. For instance, the other day I've just heard this. Someone who said, I won't be creating to that market because I need to speak another language and this will be not authentic. And I thought, what the hell?
Oh.
So you should not be afraid of that. The other thing, and this for me, it's mandatory most, and at the beginning even more, it's preparation.
Mhm.
Because this is kind of, and I like to give the example of a singer. If you want to be a good singer, and if you want to make a sing well a song, you need to know the lyrics from the up to the down, and then you can, and to know the music as well, and then you can make it good. Otherwise, if you, when you go to record the song, it's the first day that you're reading the lyrics and heard the music, this won't work. Which tips, Vitek, will you want to share about this? Because I think you may know lots of things, useful things to to prepare before recording.
Mm. Yeah, preparation is extremely important. I can't stress enough how important is that. Actually, I would give you gave an example with a singer. I would give an example with a stand-up comedian. Many people, they think that stand-up comedians, they are fantastic
Yeah.
because they just stand there and they tell jokes. All the jokes are prepared. All the jokes are very carefully rehearsed. Many times. Going over with your family, with a small audience first. Wherever there will be clap, wherever there will be laugh, this, that. Of course, they are great in that space, that they can react quickly on certain things which are happening. But majority, if you see most of the comedians, stand-up comedians, and you see them 3-4 times, you understand that it's really a scripted show. Again, I'm not taking anything away from them. It's very
Absolutely.
well rehearsed and everything, and they are very
Absolutely.
quick in analyzing the situation, that they can make a quick jokes here and there as well. But majority of the things, like 95%, is really very well prepared. So coming back to your question, yeah, preparation is extremely important. What I like to do, I like to always depends. For example, if we do a show, or no, not show, like a short video about certain things. So you can see now on a TikTok, for example, a lot of people, they're talking about I don't know, certain app or certain website, or some kind of tips, things like that. So if you want to do some video like this, which is very useful, usually very short, what you can do, you can prepare the text, so you can write it down. While you're writing it down, actually by hand, not on computer, by hand, there is a thing which they call the subconsciously. While you're writing it down, you're putting it in your subconscious mind as well. So it's important to actually write it down. Then what you can do, of course, you should rehearse the text at least 10 times. You really need to read it out loud, not just to yourself, but
Yeah.
out loud, because while you're reading it, you also hear. The other day I was doing actually one of the video masterclass with a group of students, and we during the masterclass we're creating a script for the business video, and so I asked them to write a script. I told them how to do it, so they created it, and I said, now you need to read it out loud. And whenever they read it out loud, and I was actually watching what they wrote on a computer, and when they were reading it, sometimes they skipped certain words because only then they realized that, oh, I used this word already 3 times, or only while reading it out loud, you actually can understand, okay, I need to, shorten it here, add a little bit here and there, and things like that. So this is important. So read it out loud at least 10 times. Then another thing, when you're reading it out loud, look in the mirror. Look into the mirror, because you see what are your gestures. Do you look actually positive? Do you look vibrant? Do you have the energy, or just reading? Yeah, then people will probably not listen to this, right? So also you can work on your delivery. Add a little bit of an accent here and there. Then withdraw a little bit, maybe just making it a little bit louder now, and then just withdraw yourself. So kind of like a play around with the text. That's another important thing, because we don't want to hear somebody reading like no 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 no. Yeah, that's like a monotonous voice, which
Absolutely.
which put us asleep, and then we kind of like.
Out of the way.
So these are probably the tips which I would suggest. Really make the preparation, prepare yourself well, write it down in your handwriting, read it out loud, in front of the mirror, and only then you can really, when you digest the text, when you know what you're talking about, then you actually have a better ability to control your emotion, to control the voice, and then you're more concentrated on the delivery rather than what you want to say. And actually, interesting thing, and I've heard it already many times, that there are some studies saying people, they don't really listen what you say, but how you say it. And it's really important, and it's really interesting. Sometimes when you're listening to some politicians, especially if they are good politicians, if you listen what they say, you say, well, this just doesn't make any sense, but they say it in a way that you feel like, oh, that's fantastic news, or that's something really interesting. Yeah. So make sure that you really your talk is also interesting, and you can work on that only when you know what you want to talk about. So then you can focus more on that delivery. So those are my few tips about how to prepare.
And one thing you mentioned, and this for me, one thing resonates a lot with me because I played theater for some years, and it was funny because I found when I was rehearsing and when I was reading just for myself, like reading introspective, not
Yes.
saying it,
Yes.
it was different than when I was saying the words and
Mm.
hearing them, because this text will get more in deep with me, and I felt it more when I was reading out loud than when I was just reading,
Mm.
which is fun because this will help you. I think this may help us as well to kind of understand how the others will hear our message, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think it's really what you said. It's totally right. I resonate with that a lot, because when you hear yourself, then you can correct yourself. When you hear your inner voice, when you're reading it just inside, it doesn't really strike you that much. When you're speaking out loud, and when you're hearing it, then you understand. This is, or I should tone it a little bit down here, or I should add a little bit here, and you can actually work on the delivery much better when you're speaking out loud.
Absolutely. And also, and I think this is even more important when we are talking about video, because we lose the 3D uh, world, and so we
Hmm.
need to fill the gap with the voice tone and also with the gestures. But the gestures, they are not kind of, they are tricky, because if you move too much, this will seem a little bit awkward. Okay, so you have to practice this as well, don't you?
Yeah,
What?
totally, absolutely, absolutely. I have a great example. You know Brian Tracy, right?
Yes.
We all know probably Brian Tracy. His gestures are really funny. I really, whenever, I don't know if you ever really noticed this, but he's doing like this, with his hands, and it's kind of so funny when I see him many times. So he's I think when I would be his coach on the like a presentational coach, I would definitely ask him to change a little bit of this of these gestures, because they are kind of yeah, a little bit funny, at least. And I concentrate on them, because that's another thing, right? Like when you start doing like a lot of things, then people kind of like are losing the interest of what you're saying, and they're looking like, what is he doing, like why he's moving so much, and why
Yeah.
like suddenly the hands are in the screen instead of his face. And so that's also a thing which we need to take care. But just to close this chapter, I would like to tell one thing, and that is, please do not have this as an excuse not doing videos. So yes, we're talking about delivery, we're talking about preparation, we're talking about all these kind of things. But both of us, Marco, we know that this is really something which we only can learn by doing it, by practicing it, not by watching some videos and thinking, oh, maybe not, I don't know, maybe tomorrow, or things like that. No, we need to stand in front of the camera and do it. And that's really important. So do not let this to be an excuse, or I'm not good in delivery, that's why I don't do it. No.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things about preparation when you do video, it's that lots of the preparation it's made with the record record button in it. There's no other way, because it's kind of, you're a sports player or something, and you just practice in the trainings. And I
Yeah.
have this experience. The Even though it's important to the training, it is, of course it is, because it will give you some basic things like physical things and also tactical and this. But the feeling in the game, it's completely different. The pressure, it's completely different. So there's no point on training and not doing.
It's actually very interesting what you just said, because as I told you, I'm an avid golfer. And uh, I spent hours and hours on driving range, on a training ground, practicing my swing, and honing the skill and all that. And we always laughed, because as a golfers, you always say, on the driving range it looks all nice, but then when you go and play golf, that's very different, where suddenly there is bit of a nervousness coming in. There is a bit of a, some other feelings which come into your way, and then they're playing some role. Then there are some other people who are watching you, things like that, and
Yes.
suddenly the game itself, is not played on a driving range, on a training ground, it's played on a course. So you need to actually, you're great player on the driving range, that's fantastic, but that's not it. You need to make sure that you carry that game also on a course, and I think it's extremely important. And before, we were talking about preparation, and we were talking how people can get nervous in front of the camera when they need to talk. And this, I wanted to show you just, I don't know if you can see this,
Yes.
but
Yes.
it's on my app. Sorry, in my phone. It's an app which called Nano Teleprompter, and actually there are many teleprompter apps. And then when you prepare your text, so for example, as you can see, yeah, okay, here.
Yes. It's
As you
okay.
can see, I prepare the text, and what I do afterwards, I just click on this little button, and as you can see now, okay, I'll just do it like this. Now you can record yourself while reading the text of the screen. How fantastic is that? You don't need to memorize
Absolutely.
the text. You don't need to do anything like that. It's simple as that. You can create your text, you can write it, You can prepare it, you can put it in your phone, and then simply just click on the record button on your camera, and then you can read it off the screen. Of course, there is a way how to read it and how not to show that you're actually reading it, but that's a different story. But still, it's much easier now with all the technical, gadgets which we have to actually present ourselves quite well.
Yeah, and this is important as well. And I think I like I don't I'm not a script guy. I have to I have to admit it. Okay,
Sure.
I'm really spontaneous. I like to prepare, and I usually I do this work mentally. Okay, I kind of uh, think, imagine how this will be, and what should I do, and also
Mhm.
I I rehearse the gestures in my head. I'm a
Mhm.
head guy. Okay, usually but yes, I like to prepare as well. But there's something that I think it is important as well. And let's talk. This could be after you get in front of the camera, you get prepared, you recorded some things, or even you made some lives. But at some point, you need to improve something. Let's talk about improvements and also the tech side, if I can say this way, of the video. Like, for instance, how to position the microphone and the camera. How should you look at the camera? Which things, basic things, because we don't want people to run. Oh, I can do that. Which basic things can you share with us, Vika?
Mm.
Vitek. Oh my god.
By the end of the show, you'll get it right. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so it very much depends actually on what kind of video you're doing. Yeah? So one of the easiest one is doing an interview, for example. So there are many people who, you know, for them keep looking in the camera. It's a problem. Yeah, it might be a problem because they kind of like looking away, and then they are wondering and all that, and it doesn't look nice really on the camera, right? But what is easier, maybe ask your friend to stand next to the camera and ask you a question. So if you, for example, imagine you want to do a video about your business, yeah. So you want to present, you want to highlight your business, you want to just mention who you are, what you do, and all these kind of things. So prepare a few questions and ask your friend to just ask you the question, and you can answer basically the question. So similar thing what we do right now. You asking me some questions, I'm answering. I'm asking some questions, and you're answering. So we have this kind of like a conversation. It's much easier because you can look at your friend. You don't need to look in the camera. And then usually, because it's a discussion, because it's a conversation between two people, it flows fairly quickly. You know what you need to talk about. You don't need to really think too much, because you're just basically answering the question which somebody else is asking you. So that's fairly simple. When you do this, just one thing is, do not position yourself. I mean, that's kind of like a little bit more advanced tip, I would say. Don't position yourself in the middle of the frame, but slightly on the side. Yeah, and then just you turn to the person who is looking at you, and you look at the person. So you don't need to keep looking in the camera. So you don't need to do that. So, and that's what we call the rule of thirds. So when you're actually dividing the screen, by thirds, then you should position yourself always at one of the third, whether here or here, yeah, on that side. So that's kind of like an advanced tip of how to position yourself, but you don't need to worry so much about this. When one thing which I see quite often is that when people when they give some tips, they keep looking in the camera, and I think this is important, just to really be aware that if you want to talk to your viewers, and if you have really important message, or perhaps some kind of tip, or some kind of emotional message, it's really good that you keep looking into the lens, and you really kind of like a staring into the lens. Sometimes it's good to even have a little sticker and put it above that lens, and just maybe write there, "Look at me," and then you know that you need to keep looking. not really. Like it's just
Yeah, yeah,
and then
absolutely.
what I have on my cameras very often is smile, because I keep forgetting to smile, during my shows, during my videos. So I always like to put down the little sticker smile, so I know that yes, I have to again give some positive feeling to my viewers.
Absolutely. And I remember, I don't know who was it. It's a lady which is really active on LinkedIn, saying, giving good tips. And she mentioned a technique which for me it's amazing. She called it the peacock technique, which
Hmm.
is instead of reading notes from your desk, like you have a notebook or something, or a paper sheet in your desktop, and you look down to read it. You have, okay, let me see if I have, okay, I have some here. Using post-its, okay, you write the note in the and you put it in the top of your uh, monitor.
Yes.
And with that, you have to look up to read them, and it's more natural, I think, instead of looking down. And so
Yes.
she called it this the peacock, because you can put the post-its at the top
Mhm.
of your monitor, and you will, when you are reading them, you are looking up, and hopefully the camera would be somewhere over there. And this sounded to me a really nice
Hmm.
technique.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, this is used. It used to be used a lot in the past during the TV productions. Before the teleprompter was introduced, people had the papers, like a big sheets of papers, and that there was an assistant who was actually holding in next to the camera, close to the camera. Usually, sometimes even like behind the camera. So you
Yeah.
actually look at the camera through the camera on the paper behind this. For you to understand what you need to. So if you have a few bullet points, there's actually nothing wrong with just really putting them on a post-it notes. And if you do things on a web camera, as we are doing, for example, now, yeah, sure, just stick them on your top of the monitor, just like peek on them, like a little bit here and there, and then you know what you want to talk about. You prepare these, if especially if you have like you have a long show, right? Like you have a half an hour or 45-minute show actually. So obviously that, or actually even longer, Marco, right? Like you have
Yeah, a
one
little bit.
hour, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you do it on your own, for example, if you don't talk to some and you want to talk about specific subjects, like you prepared, for example, five different things which you want to talk about. So you have a five different post notes, and okay, now I would like to talk about this, to talk about that. Then you pick on the other part, and then so kind of like you keep your conversation flowing, and you don't need to look somewhere down and, oh, where do I have the paper, and and it looks weird, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And besides that, and we are moving, one of the things that sometimes we may forget, and it's crucial as well, it's the look. And when I talk about the look, it's the look itself. It's
Mm.
not the way we
Yeah.
move, it's the way we are, our dress code, and also the background, which
Mhm.
sometimes I think right now things are a little bit normal. But I'm pretty sure that when this COVID thing came, you heard or you saw also uh, nice examples of what not to do. Your
Um,
tips on this, because I think it's
yeah.
important. And for instance, the other day, let me share this example, because
Mhm.
this could be a nice way to kick off this topic. It was a guy. He's, I think he should be around the 50s. Okay, he's an executive. He does his lives in suit and tie and this kind of
Mhm.
things. And he was asking advices about headphones like this. What do you have to say about it?
Um, so I haven't seen it. I don't know exactly the example what you're talking about, but um, uh, regarding this, you should always dress the way it's kind of like a suitable to your profession. So if you're accountant, for example, or you auditor, or you lawyer, you probably wouldn't walk around like with the t-shirt, right? Like you don't do the business in attire like I'm in. Yeah. So dress for your business. Yeah, maybe you don't need to be completely dressed up like but you will probably have at least shirt and jacket. Yeah, maybe not tie. Yeah, or something like this. You want to look a little bit more casual, it's fine, it's okay. Yeah, again, it depends on what the message is. The message should also be kind of like a crafted for that actually the look should be crafted for the message. So that's something which I always feel. Yeah, I would probably feel weird if I see a guy, giving me tips about earphones, dress up in a suit and tie. But then at the end of the day, maybe that's his way how to become a unicorn, or how to become a
No,
different.
I
I don't
think
know.
I explained it not so well, because the thing is, he's an executive, okay, and he
Mhm,
was asking because he saw someone using these Canet headphones,
mhm,
and he wanted one for them as well. And
mhm.
we came to telling him, look, you should use these kind of earphones, because
Okay,
they look
sure.
it's hard to tell right now that I'm
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
using them. And
yeah,
these Canet headphones and a suit don't match.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
No, no.
and
Yeah,
he said,
totally, totally. Sure, sure. Now I got your point. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, yeah. So looks, the environment, and look, how you dressed. It is important. Me personally, like for example, when you look at my background, this is completely wrong. It's completely wrong background. No, really. I'm actually sitting at home. Normally, when I do my things from the office, my office is very, very neat and clean, and the background should be uh, not disturbing. So I should not be wondering, what is this, behind this guy, or inside that shelf and this. No, you should be concentrating and focusing on me, on my message, because that's what I want, right? Like I want you to listen to me, not wondering, oh, what is this painting or about, or what is that, or over there there's some red box, what is that, so you're distracting by the background. So that this is really important as well. Just think about that. Have it decent, nice background, so it looks nice, it looks presentable. But on the other hand, not to overclutter it with things that just people are focusing on the wrong things. Yeah.
absolutely. And that's funny because as I mentioned before, I do my Amazon live shows, and so that's why I have so many things in my background. And I
Mhm.
was preparing this show, but thing is, I had not that much time. But one of the things, and I need to figure this out, because when I do this kind of interviews, I don't want so many things showing up in the
Mhm.
background, because as you mentioned, they will distract. And I think I like to say this, because this is something that usually people ask me as well about the background. And I say it, I like to say, to your message, in the worst scenario, your background should be neutral,
Mhm.
or it should reinforce your message.
Yep.
Okay, so right now I think mine is not doing a good job as well. So I need to work on it, because too many information, I think. But I will work on that, and believe me.
And if
Scout
we're
work.
talking,
So yes,
yep.
yes, yes.
And Marco, if we're talking about the overall message, I think the one of the most important things which people usually forget about, and it's really extremely important, is the audio, is the
Yeah.
sound. How do you sound? And I don't mean like now the tonality of your voice. I mean how clear your voice is coming through on the other side. And sometimes we don't understand it, how important it is, because we don't hear ourselves on the other side. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now, actually, when we had all these different Zoom calls and team meetings and all this stuff, we know how difficult it is sometimes to listen to somebody. His microphone is cracking, or maybe it's completely somewhere different, and you don't really know what he's saying, and then
Echoing.
you need to make so much effort to actually understand what the other person is saying, and that's physically draining, actually. I don't know how many of Zoom calls I had in the past 2 years when I felt physically drained after this. Not really, and I'm
Yeah,
sure
yeah,
we
yeah. I know,
all
I know,
have
I know, I
the
know.
same experience. Yeah, then like you felt, oh my God. I mean, and you wanted to scream like, I don't really understand you. I don't hear what you're saying, and this is really important. So like you have a fantastic mic. I have my mic. I think, again, even with these, we were talking about doing videos on the phone. I know that our for mobile phones they have they have the microphones. Please, 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 if you don't do anything, if you don't want to buy any other equipment, just buy external mic. If you do videos on a phone, just buy external mic. It will cost you $100. It's I believe that we will not break your budget.
Yeah,
So you can manage that, and then you will have fantastic videos, because your voice will be heard very, very, very clearly. We will forgive if the video is slightly crappy but great sound. We will not forgive if it's the opposite way around.
absolutely. And that's the reason I was laughing when you start talking about audio, because usually we think the main thing on video it's the image, and it's wrong because it's the audio.
Yes.
Yes. So, and we have Richard saying it. Audio, it's
Audio.
a must. Yes, it is. It is because if, as you mentioned, you can see, you can watch a video even if the image it's a little blurry, for instance. But if the audio it's not sounding good, you will leave. And the thing is, and I someone said this about my videos. Sometimes I just hit the play on your videos, and I'm working, doing my things, and I'm just listening to your videos. So it's crucial.
Yeah. And then, just the other day, I had a meeting with one of our clients, and we were discussing some new strategy for them. A kind of new strategy is not really anything new, what I'm gonna just about to say, but I told them, if you want to create some like a show where you introduce some new technologies, because they are kind of like they're a tech company, kind of up and coming. Um, you can invite, and you can create something like this, what we do right now between me and you. You can invite some people, you can create that kind of video, and then you can discuss these new technologies with some experts in your industry. And if you're smart enough, you just take the audio of that video and you create a podcast. Because if you have a good sound, you can repurpose that, and then you can immediately create a podcast, right? Because some other
Absolutely.
people, they might not watch the video, but they might go to for a walk, or they might be driving, they might be I don't know, doing some fitness or whatever it is,
Yeah,
and they
absolutely.
like to listen to podcasts. So just try to think, whenever you create a piece of content, a video, for example, if we're talking about video, how to repurpose it. um, Even
Absolutely.
here, from our discussion which we have, I'm pretty sure you're recording it. What I always tell to my clients: just go record it, and then chop it down to question answer, question answer, question answer, and suddenly you don't have just one piece of content, but
Yeah, absolutely.
20 pieces of content. And then you can repurpose it, you can create a short snippets from this, you can rip the audio, you can create a podcast out of it. Come on, it's a 1 hour discussion, which is rich content wise, which you can then use on your social media.
Absolutely. I one day I was doing a training, and one of the one of the excuses. I have no time. And I said to them, look, if you do a live show every other week, you have content to fill those 13 days before the next show. And you just mentioned you said them. So, Vitek, we are almost at the end, but before that, I can ask you a kind of wrap up, three advices that you want to leave to people if they are thinking about going video.
Hmm. Yeah, I hope that if somebody made it up until now, so they were listening to us for the whole hour. I hope they understood that video is really extremely important. For me, video is the best marketing and sales tool which you can use for your business. So if you're a business owner, if you're running your business, whatever it is, video is really extremely important because video can carry a lot of weight, in the sense of, its emotional message. It lasts for much longer. It works for you even while you sleep. Video creates certain visibility for you. That in turns gives you certain credibility. And we all know that people like to buy from people they know and trust. So if the credibility is high, obviously the profitability will follow. So that's really important. Why I love to promote videos, and I do, all my life is about videos. And I do it not because it's my profession, but because I truly believe that video is the best marketing tool which we can use. And what is the most important about this? It's really cheap. We feel that sometimes doing video is extremely difficult and
Yeah,
expensive. And again, like, I hope really we gave that message very clearly, that if we have this, if we have our phones, we have everything what we need. Okay, we said that perhaps you can buy the microphone, external microphone, but that's the only thing which you really need to invest in. Otherwise, there's anything else you don't really need. You have everything with you right now. So video is important. Video is really very, very powerful. My one of my tests, which I usually do with my students when we had this, like, in person sessions, I always said, like, put up your hand. How many people have seen a business related video in the past month? Everybody were putting their hands up. And I ask, okay, how many of you created video for your business in last month? Very few hands went up. I said, you see, there's a great disproportion. People are watching videos. They like to consume videos. So there's a big window of opportunity for us, business owners, people who are working or want to create or want to be more visible. Then, video is absolutely fantastic tool for us to get noticed, to become, I don't want to say famous, but to be known as an expert in our particular
absolutely.
particular fields. Yeah. So this is what I would like to leave our listeners with, or the people who are watching, that video is really extremely important, and it's very, very easy to do. Just start. That's all.
Absolutely. And I don't think there's a better way to finish our show. Thank you so much, Vitek. Thank you so much. It was a really insightful conversation. I look forward to maybe in the future. Hope I can bring you again. And we have here Ronaldo. Thank you, Ronaldo, for staying there. Thanks for the precious tips. Thank you so much. So we came to the end. Don't forget, this show is sponsored by SEA Ranking, and this could be also a nice tool for you to find topics to talk about in your videos. Okay, so if
Mhm.
you want, you can go to the description and hit the link, and you can test the tool for 14 days, and you will see how powerful she is. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. We will get back next week with another guest. I'm gonna leave Vitek to rest a little bit.
Marco, thank you very much for having me. It was absolutely fantastic, and yeah, I'm glad that we had this discussion. Thank you.
Likewise, thank you so much. See you next week. Bye bye.